I was drafted to the Israeli army in 1968, a year after the Six-Day War. I wanted to be a settler. There were new territories, and I thought that the most important unit to go was what we call Nachal. Zionist Jews fighting, or I don't know how you translate it, because it's the only unit where men and women serve together, and we could be placed somewhere along the border and really smell the war and experience it. Basic training of the Nachal for girls is even longer than the usual one, and ours were extremely long, because this was 1968, and the country was founded in 1948. So it's 20 years for the Nachal, and it's time for celebration. And after the Six-Day War, if I have to think about social implications about the Yom Kippur War, you can't start investigating the Yom Kippur War and not look at the celebrations and the celebrations that existed in the State of Israel since 1967 because of our victory. I specifically remember the first shelling, and I was a young girl, and it's the first time in war. So you hear this noise and then the big explosion. My role was to crawl to the shelter, which I did. I was paralyzed out of fear, but eventually made it. And the job of the boys was to go to the position and return fire, if you can return fire when there is a missile. When the first bomb fell, we, the girls, went to the shelters, and the boys rushed to the position with their underwear. They didn't even take time, they were so scared. And they all ran with the white underwear to the position and returned fire if they did. The interesting thing was the next morning, at noontime actually, we turned on the Israeli radio and we heard the following statement: He'achzut Nachal Golan, the settlement, was heavily bombed last night. Our forces returned fire. And I was, all my life I was thinking about our forces in underwear, and also really the gap between the official narrative that we grow up with, what we hear, and what actually we experience at the very moment of extreme fear.